What's going on, guys? What's going on, everybody? What's going on? So, what if Carmelo Anthony stayed with the New York Knicks? And I'm going to get into that basically. Um, so Carmelo Anthony played for the OKC Thunder, for the Blazers, for the Lakers, for the Nuggets, for all different teams. But what if he stayed with the New York Knicks? I definitely think the New York Knicks would have a championship right now, right now, because the New York Knicks have a great team and Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges and Devin Chinzel and Julius Randle and Josh Hart. Like the Knicks have a playoff team, have a really good playoff team now. But what if Carmelo Anthony won a championship earlier in his career with the New York Knicks? I think Carmelo Anthony would have a better career because when we look at it, we can say that Carmelo Anthony is a first is going to be in the Hall of Fame. But when he got to when he got traded to Knicks, when he got traded to the Knicks, um, Phil Jackson wasn't there yet. I definitely think when if Phil Jackson once he got there, if he never wanted to trade Carmelo Anthony, if Phil Jackson never traded Carmelo Anthony because we all know that Phil Jackson likes to run his triangle offense, his triangle offense, and Phil Jackson did coach Carmelo Anthony. I mean, Phil Jackson did coach Michael Jordan, the great Kobe Bryant. But I think if Phil Jackson never traded Carmelo Anthony, I think Carmelo Anthony would have a championship with the Knicks. Carmelo Anthony had an amazing career, but I definitely think if you don't trade like a Carmelo Anthony, a Kevin Durant, a Steph Curry caliber player, if Phil Jackson never wanted to trade Carmelo Anthony, because Carmelo Anthony was that guy, was that guy. Carmelo Anthony was that guy in New York. Carmelo Anthony will get respect and cheers every time he he goes to the Knicks game. Carmelo Anthony, I think Carmelo Anthony wanted to retire a Knick, and and if there are rum, there are rumors that there are rumors that Carmelo Anthony almost signed with the Knicks before he retired. There are rumors that Carmelo Anthony almost signed with the Knicks. Now let me get into that. If Carmelo Anthony signed with the Knicks, with this Knicks team and Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Devin Tinsley, Julius Randle, just look at the Knicks roster. You would have Carmelo Anthony, Julius Randle, um, Julius Randle, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Devin Tinsley, and Josh Hart and Carmelo Anthony, the Knicks still have a good team. But I think that team would be a good team to watch in a championship team. I'm not saying the Knicks have a championship team right now. The Knicks, the Knicks are the Knicks. The Knicks are going to win a championship because you still got the guys that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. But if you add Carmelo to this team, like Carmelo Anthony coming off the bench for the New York Knicks at the end of his career, that would be amazing to see. Because Carmelo Anthony will always get cheers from Knicks fans, will always get respect from Knicks fans for what he did for New York. Because he gave New York his all when he was in there. But what if he stayed? What if he stayed on the Knicks? If Phil Jackson never wanted to trade him, like I'm going to say this, if Phil Jackson never wanted to trade him, I would say the Knicks would have a championship right now. Yes, the Knicks would have still the same roster. The Knicks would still have the same roster. But if the Knicks wanted to, if the Knicks wanted to um, sign Carmelo Anthony at the end of his career, which Carmelo Anthony didn't want to accept that role with the OKC Thunder or Houston. He accepted that role once he got on the Lakers, once he got on the Blazers. I think if, because look at what Russell Westbrook did. He accepted, Russell Westbrook accepted that role. Russell Westbrook accepted that role where he coming off the bench now because I think at the beginning of Carmelo Anthony's career, he wanted to be the guy. He was a top five at the beginning of Carmelo's career. He was the top five, top 10 face of the NBA, and I'm definitely going to say this: is that is that if Carmelo Anthony never got traded, if Phil Jackson never wanted to trade Carmelo Anthony, we would be looking at somebody. We would look at Carmelo's career. We would look at Carmelo's career, a different Carmelo Anthony's career. He's still a first Hall of Famer. I do think when we when we bring up names, when we bring up NBA players' names that were good to watch, I think Carmelo Anthony would be in that conversation. Would be in that conversation because we don't talk about Iverson a lot. We don't talk about. I'm just going to bring that up. We talk about Carmelo Anthony. We talk about LeBron James. Um we talk about Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. We don't talk about Iverson that much. We don't talk about Yao Ming that much. We don't talk about the impact on what other players brought to the NBA, on what other players brought to the NBA. We don't talk about that. We need to start talking about what other players brought to the NBA and how other players brought to their fort. Because when you look at it, you can say right now that Brian had an amazing career because Brian passed the ring. Steph Curry's having a good career. Kevin Durant's having a good career. But when you say who paved the way, look at Michael Jordan, paved the way. Look at Bill Russell, paved the way. Look at Carmelo Anthony, paved the way for for the NBA. Look at Chris Paul is paving the way for NBA players. The NBA players that we see now in this generation and we see in generations past, I could say I could say that we don't talk about how Iverson paved the way for all of these players now. We don't talk about how Carmelo Anthony paved the way, how Bill Russell paved the way, how Michael Jordan pat, made a path for a way for generation players. I know I'm getting off topic here. I know I'm getting off topic here. But we don't talk about that. We don't talk about certain players anymore. That we don't talk about. We talk about some certain players, but we don't talk about all the players that passed the way for the NBA or for the sport, whatever sport they do, whatever sport, whatever sport these players play. But it would be interesting to see Carmelo play before he retired, or if he. It would be interesting for Carmelo. It would be interesting to see if Carmelo um stayed with the Knicks because Carmelo had Jeremy Lin on the Knicks. Carmelo had Steinmeier on the Knicks at the time. And now there's reports that Carmelo Anthony almost signed with the Knicks. That would be interesting to see. That would be interesting to see. But guys, never give up your dreams. And I hope all of you guys are safe out there and stay blessed, everybody, and peace.